Hello, everybody in the interwebs. This is El Viejo Toro of the Fancy Action Now, and this is my response and a freaky little unboxing. This is my response to a YouTuber called Smash JT. And apparently he's a fixture, man. Apparently he's a bit of a fixture. I had no idea of his channel until all of these people. One thing he successfully did was he definitely got a lot of attention around his video. And I don't know if he intended to do it, because he said it was a very candid, unscripted, impromptu video while he was visiting his folks. And what he does is he's a married guy with a house and a life and the whole thing. And he has a really pretty deep gaming collection. And a lot of his gaming swag is located at his folks' house. And just him going through some of the stuff that he had in bins and stuff like that, he had quite a nice collection, particularly like PS1, PS2. Just some of the games he was thumbing through while he was there. And he said, he goes, like, every time I come back to my folks, my wife's angry with me because we don't have a whole lot of space. And I'm always bringing back more gaming swag. He like does it in bites. Like, and again, that's smart too, because if you all of a sudden you walk in with your wife with like 10 boxes of gaming swag and throw it in the spare room. So, he takes it in bites. He brings it back, a box at a time, and adds it to his collection at his own home, which I'm sure is relatively substantial. And he says, we got this whole room essentially taken up with my gaming stuff. And he goes, in today's day and age, I think he even puts that in the title or the subtitle. He's like, in today's day and age, does it really make sense to have all these retro games? He's like, you can emulate them, you can play them online, and he didn't go into all that, but you got good old games, and you got Raspberry Pis, and modded Xboxes and stuff like that. Like, I have a modded Xbox that has all the whole ream of coin ops and all the rest of it. Everything you could imagine. So I got like one system that basically has the entire retro collection from the Atari, Coleco, FM Towns, all the wacky weird ones. What's some of the other weird ones? PC Engine, of course, Amstrad. I'm trying to think of some of the other obscure titles, but like Mac stuff. Just about everything you could possibly want on one box. And you can add games to it. You can take, you could take the disc and it'll put it on your hard drive for you. You can rip it to the hard drive. So, I think his point is, what is the point of having all of this swag around? What is the point of having it? And just in case, Smash JT, you watch this video, I did go ahead and look through some of your stuff. Now, I also gave your titles and your links to the video in the description. So if you want to go check out the original video that inspired this one and quite a few many other ones, because I think a lot of people kind of struggle with this, and I'm struggling with this now. Now, on my thumbnail, if you looked at my thumbnail, I had some numbers next to how many titles. Those are the actual totals of my titles. So, let's put it into dimension. Let's put it into like a solid dimension here. My total collection is now over 2,000 games. And I knew I was coming close to that benchmark. And I'm like, when I get to 2,000 games, and even when I first started collecting, and I have to tell you, the guy that inspired me to start collecting and put it up on, storing it out so people could see it was Happy Console Gamer. Happy Console Gamer, when he'd sit in front of that gaming wall, and I'd sit there and I'd look at the the different titles of the different stuff he had, and he had what game did he have like holding something up? It was like Shaq Fu or or some other game like Darkwing Duck or some duck game. I don't know. I forget what it was. But he has some game he doesn't like, and it actually is like holding up the shelf like a pillar. Yeah. So Happy Console Gamer. Happy Console Gamer. Fancy action now. Happy Console Gamer. That's not a coincidence. I remember he was going through, and I remember the game. I knew the game, but he was playing a game. It was, I think it was Final Zone 2, where the guy's like, there's no damage on the weapons. Let me show them some fancy action now. And it just made me laugh. It made me laugh. And I'm like, man, that's a little obscure. People aren't going to really know. Like when you see Happy Console Gamer, it's got gamer and console right in the title. So that's more effective marketing than my fancy action now. It's deliberately obscure, to be honest. And I know I whinge a lot about my subscriber count, but I do a lot of things that I shouldn't do that keeps it kind of low, to be honest. Again, I'm not consistent. My game is the name of the channel is kind of just like, huh, what? It's not clear. It's not clear. And that will definitely, people will be like, huh? But I like that. I like being a little contrarian. And that may play into why I like having all of these games out. While I like storing them around. And I store them rather aesthetically, if I may say. So I'm going to turn my camera around and let you look. There, you see, there's my studio light, but there's my Wii titles, my Wii U, my GameCube, and over there is the 360s. Look how beautifully ordered they are. Oh my God, isn't that nice? So some of it does go back to a nesting and stacking instinct, I think. A lot of it does come from a nesting or stacking. Oh, my chat is disabled for some reason. Well, okay, that's fine. I don't care. So, yeah, but try to post to the chat. I mean, the chat's on in the live stream, but it won't let me pop it out or something. I don't know what the hell. But anyway, so you just got a quick look at my two collections, right? The Wii collection, and this isn't all the titles, okay? There are more. There's overflow. But I'm going to go into what my total count is. Now, ironically enough, he had another video that was titled, "Your Game Collection is Worthless?" And in that, he's like, hey, having this around, ironically, he's like, having this around and collecting these games gives me a warm feeling inside. It like completes me or gives me closure in some way or validates my existence or, and so basically he basically answered his own question in a previous video. Why do you have a retro video game collection? Why do you keep all this merchandise around you? All these plastic cases and discs and cartridges and, systems and, you're never going to play it all. And that's what everybody says. That's what every normie says. Do you play them? Do you play them? I mean, I get people at Goodwill asking me that. I'll come up with a stack of like 8 or 9 games, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're a gamer, or is this for your kid?" Or, you know. And I'm like, "Nah, I collect them." You collect them? Like, that is a new concept. I mean, people collect stamps, coins, plates, dolls. You want to talk about creepy? Have you ever been to some house where the poor guy is like, the husband is like, has one chair and his TV, and he minds his own business, and the rest of the house is like decorated with his wife's doll collection? I've seen that. That is horrifying. It is creepy. I had to sleep in a doll room when I was like a teenager. We stayed over at these people's house, and she stuck me in the room with all these dolls, and she just thought that was the greatest thing ever, and talked to me about them and showed them to me, and then they were staring at me. The breathers, you know, they got the pursed lips. They're called breather. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, you want to talk about crazy. So, but I knew I was going to cross the 2,000 benchmark very soon. I thought to myself, when I started collecting and I started the YouTube channel, and I had a relatively small collection, a very boutique, very select, very nice collection of video games, but now I've got like just ridiculous amounts of games everywhere. So I thought to myself when I started, I'm like, man, if I get up to 2,000, that'll probably be the limit. Or at least I would consider myself hardcore. I'm a hardcore. I didn't think I was hardcore back then. I had a nice select, you know, Sega Genesis, PS1, PS2, Xbox 360. I had a tight little collection of various systems, 3DO, and, you know, I was like, okay, I'm a gamer, and I collect these systems, and I hold on to my systems. Whenever I buy a system, I always hold on to it. I've held on to every system pretty much, with maybe a minor exception here or there, but pretty much every system I've ever had, I still have. So I got rid of my PS1 at one point because PS2 played PS1, and I gave it away to somebody, you know, a friend or buddy or something like that. And that's usually what I do. I don't pawn them. I don't sell them. I just give them to somebody who's interested in it. But, you know, I've crossed the 2,000 titles threshold. 2,000 video games. Okay. So, you know, he was ringing a bell. Smash JT was ringing a bell for me. And it rang a bell for Reggie, Radical Reggie, who has a great channel. And he's a great guy. And he's just a sweetheart. And he just loves video games. And he is a very targeted collector. He has a very valuable collection. Now, like, his collection is probably quite a few less titles, but much higher in value. Now, one other factor, I was watching, God, it just flew out of my head. They got a good channel, and they've been doing some really good videos. Flew out of my head. They got a good channel. Okay, we're just going to do that. Oh, no, you can keep going. See if I can find their... I'm trying to remember. Like, again, Baltimore Retro Gaming, shout out. Very targeted collector. I know I watched a video there very recently. Bro, come on now. Now, one thing he also addressed was, in a recent video, he also addressed, are game collectors, like big YouTubers, ruining collecting, because Metal Jesus will come out and mention a game, and he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They go out and buy it. And it like skyrockets the price. But that's the market. Oh, it's Gaming Off the Grid. Gaming Off the Grid. It's another good YouTuber. A couple of guys, and they always feature some kind of like indie beer, and just it's great. But they were talking about they're doing videos now about purging their collection of games, like going through and getting the crap out they don't have any genuine interest to, and either selling it or giving it away or doing whatever they do. But they're going through their collection and they're getting rid of it. And I've had that thought, like, man, maybe I should just purge it and cut it in half and just keep the most valuable titles, the most of interest titles. And what they've been noticing now, here's the thing. This is the other concept, okay? The other concept is they are seeing the prices on Wii in particular skyrocket. So they've been seeing, because of the lockdowns and because of people trapped at home, they're pulling the Wii out of the closet. They're like, what can I get these kids to do? And the Wii is like the best system for that kind of crap. You got bowling and you got stuff that you can occupy the kids for a few hours. There's educational games if you ever bought any. And you can actually do some instruction in the house. You can keep them busy. It's physical exercise. So the Wii has made a resurgence. The Wii, and they probably should do a separate video on that. The Wii has had a resurgence, and the prices are reflected in that. So let me see. So I got a couple people watching. Thank you very much for popping in. Very interesting topic. So, are retro video games useless? And I would have to say no. I would have to say no. Hard answer, no. Because one, what you have to understand is if here's one aspect, and I'll give you another aspect. The first aspect is in his previous video where he was talking about how the collecting made him feel good. That's what it's about. So whether you're a guy who's a fly fisherman and he's got a little work table and he makes these little lures and then he saves his lures from when he was fishing and he caught a fish and he keeps them in like a case, and he has a collection of his father's lures. I'm not into that. I'm not, maybe I wish I was, but I'm not. That's not me. This is me. This is something that makes up who I am. And it's something that I enjoy. And now it's like a habit. The other day, it was a couple days ago, and I actually got these two for $5 a piece. World War Z, $5 a piece, AAA. It's more of a triple B title. Actually, it's a double B. World War Z, I know you want to call yourself a AAA title. And then Lego Jurassic Park, another AAA. No, B, double B, triple B. Not even triple B, double B. But I got these for $5, right? So this one's even complete with the book. Lego Jurassic World. Totally complete. $5 a piece. Couldn't pass it up. And there were some other games. There were some other filler titles that I found. One was like Motocross Madness or Motorway Madness for the original Xbox. Like I found a couple really kind of unique titles for the original Xbox. That one wasn't complete though. It was missing a manual. But I did just get this too. Talking about a collection and dealing with systems. See, these are the kind of things that we buy. The collectors buy. The community. The gaming community buy. This is a component switch, because I want to hook up. I'm actually redoing the studio, and I put a flat panel. I got rid of that Sony monster. It was too hot, and it was just smelled and dusty, and it was old. I found it on the street. And I just loved restoring it, and I loved playing games on it because of the sound. But it was just I'm in a 10 by 10 room here in the studio, which is great, but it was like so hot. It like created so much heat, and it was just like I couldn't deal with it anymore. So I went and put a flat panel in the studio, and then I got a different shelf that's has the same amount of space, but it's a little tighter, and it's white. It matches my game stacks, and it's just looking tighter and tighter and tighter, man. I want to get a Sega beer light in here. Yeah, winning. So this is a component switch. I want to have my USA PS2 and my Japanese PS2, and then probably an original Xbox hooked up via component up to this bad boy. And that's going to just kind of happen. I'm going to bring systems in, more and more systems back into the studio, and hopefully get them all in here. I'm trying to consolidate. I'm trying to, instead of having a sprawling, and I have so many games, I have over 2,000 games now, I can't keep it all in one spot. I can't. It's just not possible, but I want to try and have most of it in here at least. So there you go. There's my freaky little component switch I haven't tested out yet. I just got it. That's relatively reasonable. Now, I did get this. All right, let's see. All right, where's the sterilization on standby? Sterilization, Clorox wipe on standby. Because it's from Hong Kong. Oh no! It took forever to get here too. Warning! This article contains material which may offend and may not be distributed, circulated, sold, hired, given, lent, shown, played, or projected to a person under the age of 18 years old. Holy shit! Holy shit! Is that some Hong Kong censorship I'm seeing? Holy shit! I'm gonna hold this up. I'm gonna hold this up, baby. So, are retro games useless? Absolutely not. Now, here's the other angle that I was gonna mention, but I stopped myself. I mean, the first angle is, look, if you collect video games and that's what you like, and you want to fill your house like a woman, that woman I talked about with the creepy dolls, it's your life, baby. But you know what you have to realize is video game collecting, if you're with somebody, if you have a relationship, and you start accumulating a certain level where you're taking over rooms, especially in a husband-wife environment. If you have a 3-bedroom house, you have a bedroom for the kids, you have a bedroom for you and your husband, and you have an extra room, she wants that room. Whether it's for a guest room or whatever. Maybe it's a giant wardrobe. I mean, I've seen that. I've seen where a woman takes one whole bedroom, and that's her her shoes and her clothes and the whole thing, and that's her thing. I have been privy to and heard from females in my life and in other friends' lives that they're like, well, if we do this, I need a room for my fill in the blank. My shoes, my clothes, my cats, my whatever it is. Whatever it is. And some, what I notice is, and it's men and women, it's not gender based, but what I've found is that some people really like people over. Some people really like having people in their house all the time. So it's family. Some people are like that. And I'm not saying the other way is good or bad, but some people like nothing better than having somebody sleeping in their spare room. It's just how they are. They like company. They're always having relatives over. It's like, oh, come on, sleep over. And the brother sleeps here. And, mom and dad came to visit and they sleep in there, and but I watch my friends' kids, and meh, meh, meh. And there's some people that aren't like that. Some people like it quiet and like to be private for the most part. And you got every right in the world, right? All right, take a look at this. But what I'm saying is that as a game collector, when you hit 2,000 games, you can't avoid that in my house, okay? It's all over the place. I have games in my front room. It's stacked neatly. It's all nice and neat. It's very aesthetic. But when you walk into my front door and you look to your left, I've got stacks going up the wall on IKEA shelves that are hung vertically, and they're all stacked up to the fucking ceiling. Almost. Not quite touching. I draw the line. I draw the line somewhere, but man, there's games all over the place. People are like, wow, video games, huh? I had a guy, as a neighbor of mine, help me with a gazebo I'm building. And he's not a gamer. He's a military instructor. And he's really nice to come down and help me out. And I said, look, bro, I got this gazebo. It's going to, I know I'm thick as outside, but it's huge and it will fall and crush me. Please come and help me just raise this thing and get it set so that I can work on it some more. And he's like, absolutely. He comes in there. He walks in the door. He looks around. He's like, video games, huh? And I'm like, yeah, video games. Yeah. I mean, that's me. And I'm like, I'm a bachelor too, man. And you know what I said to him? I said, if I was living with a female, I probably could not get away with all this. And he just chuckled. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I live on my own. I do as I wish. I don't have anybody saying, whoa, you're going to stack all that in the front room? I don't have anybody tell me that. Okay? I don't have anybody going, listen, Rob, I'd love to have my folks come and stay with us, but you've turned the extra room into a game room, and there's nowhere for them to sleep. Now, is somebody in your life, and I don't care if it's male or female, doesn't matter, but if somebody in your life is like, hey, I want to have like a normal, quote unquote, a normal household, are they wrong? Are they wrong for asking that? Like Smash JT's wife is like, God, you're bringing more of that? I mean, there's no, and for her, there's no use to it. There's no benefit to her. It is literally just clutter in her head. He didn't marry a gamer. And it's not easy to find a gaming, somebody like you. It's somebody that's into it as much as you. The same thing with the dolls. Like I told you, the husband was in the room. He had one little area of the house, pretty much like it wasn't quite taped off, but you could tell he was like, look, I got to get through this life. I'm going to have my chair, my TV, and this is my area. And that was the only area that wasn't populated with fucking dolls. Okay, so you have to realize I'm a bachelor. I love being a bachelor, by the way. I do. I love doing as I wish with my own house. Okay, I own a house. I'm a homeowner, and my house is there to please me. It's also set up for my kid. My kid has the run of the place. She has her own bathroom. She has her own room. She has half the office. One of my bedrooms is an office, so she has half of it for her art studio. And that's how I live, okay? That's how I live. And to be honest, I'm happy as a fucking clam most of the time. I don't know if you can tell. Earth Defense Force 5. This is the Chinese-American version that has the United States subtitles. I don't believe this came over here to the United States. But it is PS4 is a region-free console. But I want you to look. I want you to look at the verbiage on this thing. See if we get a little focus going. Can I focus on it? Wow. I don't know if it's coming through. It looks a little blurry to me. But I'll read it again. This article, this right here, this thing. This article contains material which may offend. Oh no! And may not be distributed, circulated, sold, hired, given, lent, shown, played, or projected to a person under the age of 18 years. Holy shit. But if you're over 18, you can go ahead and sleep with it. What the freak? Holy freak. They put, oh my God, dude. I have to get this paper off here, but I got to save this. Because I think this is like the Chinese censorship vibe going on there. The content ban. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Philberto's saying, hey, Dr. Disrespute is back. Dr. Disrespect, baby. Nick T. Wolf. Nick Twolf. Hands down, we'll watch this over the real Dr. Disrespect. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Little shout out. World's going crazy. All right, so do I have an implement of destruction to open this bad boy up? Because I was going to go ahead and throw it on in. So here's the other thing. I talked to you guys about the value of games, and in particular, because of the lockdown, video games and interest in video games has exploded. Pawn shops are empty. They don't have systems when they were just loaded with game systems. They are all sold out across the county, across multiple counties. Because I go to pawn shops in multiple counties. I've been in multiple counties, and they are completely shot out. Nothing. No systems. You can get an old beat-up 3DS maybe, and that's it. So all the video games have been bought up. All the used video games have been bought up. There's a little bit out there. Okay? And the Wii especially, because everybody just puts that little system away, and then they can pull it out, plug it in, and give the kids throw some batteries in the Wiimotes, and they've got something to entertain. So the value of everything right now has risen significantly, and Wii titles have risen significantly and continue to rise. With the advent of digital distribution, physical media is now a 50-50 show. I did a video of that like 6 months ago. Video games are now 50% served, and we've crossed that line by now. It is now over 50% digital service. It is served digitally. You don't have physical media. Game Pass. The PS5 with no disk drive. The Xbox Series X or Lockhart or whatever the hell it is, no disc. The Atari VCS, no disk drive. Okay? That saves them money on the hardware. It saves them money on the printing. It saves them in so many ways, okay, on returns. Like, think about it. You buy a game, you return it. You know what the conversion rate of returns is for digital? It's much less. It's just much less. There's nothing physical to return. I guarantee you the return digitally is less. And if it's just sitting there on your hard drive and you're like, maybe I'll check it out later. People are fucking busy. They're just... But if you're at Walmart and you're like, yeah, remember that game? Let me get that game over there. Yeah, we never cracked it open. The kid doesn't like it. Boom. They don't have to deal with lack of sales. So if they think it's going to be a big hit and they print 2 million copies and they sell 300,000 copies, it's landfill, or they got to accept it back. It's a pain in the ass. And you got to think about that on a global scale, okay? Not just the U.S. We're the biggest market, but holy shit. You know they're going to be pushing for that. This next generation is going to go full digital at some point. They're going to keep. See, this is the. I'll come out and say this. This is the last generation for physical media in gaming consoles. In gaming consoles. Oh, one of the things I found, by the way, if you're a PC gamer, I found this on my little ramp. I got it for like $1 too. Sins of a Solar Empire, real-time strategy, and it's always gotten like rave reviews, hidden gem. You need to check this out. So I get to check it out. It's like a single disc with a huge manual. A huge manual. So Sins of a Solar Empire. I would love to see that come to consoles. Maybe it is, and I just don't know. Half the time I check, it's there. But anyway, so this is, let me see if I have an implement. I got this. Pencil. Felt good. Felt like I was biting into a debutante's neck like a vampire. All right, here we go. All right, this creepy Hong Kong warning label. Can I read that? Somebody needs to set this to music. This article contains material which may offend, almost like my channel, and may not be distributed, circulated, sold, hired, given, lent, shown, played, or projected to a person under the age of 18 years of age. God forbid. And this... Let me go get a fresh... I'm going to get a fresh wipe. Oh, my God, bro. It's getting late. I don't look tired, but I feel tired. All right, so I'm just going to wipe it down, wipe it down. It is from Hong Kong, after all. It went through so many, like layers, like DHL shipped it, and they showed you, like, all of the, you know, the stops that this thing had to make. And it had to sit in customs and just like, oh my God, bro. Crazy, deranged, yeah. So there it is. Earth Defense Force 5. Beautiful little red gold coat, I guess. Gold coat. I don't know. Some code for gold coat. Some other little slip in there. There's no actual manual for a brand new game. Again, manuals. Again, printing, cash money, going out the door on printing manuals and stuff. But there you go. And I don't think it has a reversible cover. Oh, it does have a reversible cover. Oh. All right, so here is the current cover. All right. Let's go flip that bad boy quick. Oh, it's the English side. Humans, defy your destiny. Ah, nice. It's the English version. I love it. So they have the Chinese on one side, the English on the other. What do you say we put the English on there, huh? Racist? No. All right. Reading, not racist. Reading. All right, there you go. Boom. Earth Defense Force 5, the English cover. Boom. Ha-ha. Love it. With the giant alien frog. And, of course, we're armored except for our stockings and our mini panties. Our micro panty. Hello. Oh, okay. Bob's your uncle. Humans, defy your destiny! All right, so I'm playing 4.1 today, and I really had a good time with it. I played it for quite a few hours. I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that censorship sticker. That is just absolutely hilarious. So, the thing about gaming is when it goes digital, all the physical media is going to go up in value. It will no longer be circulated as much. And as the values creep up, and again, retro gaming value is... Philberto did a video about this. All these prices are increasing higher. They're growing at a rate faster than the freaking stock market or the price of gold or Bitcoin or XLR. Is it XLR? So, or XRP. Is it XRP? So, yeah, are you going to retire on your game collection? Probably not right now, okay? But there are some people, Philberto is one of them, who have a lot of really valuable titles already. I have some valuable titles already, okay? And I found some... See, the other thing is, too, and I'd have to say... Let's stand up. I'd have to say that... Just inch it up a little bit. I would have to say that I have found many valuable titles. You know, I just found the NCAA 2014, which is $120. I think it's $113 loose for the disc. $113 for the disc. Okay. But complete, you know, it's $100.50. Now in a year or two, that's going to be $200. So if you're growing at a rate of like 20 to 30% annually, that is a ridiculously good rate of return. That is a ridiculous rate of growth. It's good. It's very good. I have noticed that. The thing of it is I've been collecting for about 4 years now. I have noticed that all of the games that have any intrinsic value at all, anything with any intrinsic value, like if it's like it's going for 20, 30 bucks on eBay, next year it'll be 30 and 40, and the year after that it's 50 and 60, and sometimes much higher. So is there a place for you to look at it as an investment? All collections have some investment value within its own community and many times outside its own community. That's why coins are good. Coins are good because they're actual money. They're two things. They're collectible and they're money, and then they're metal. It's a third thing. That's actually a physical metal that you could melt down, and it has the intrinsic properties of silver or gold or copper or platinum or whatever it is. It has the physical base is intrinsic. Now, video games aren't like that, but they are a double collectible. Some collectibles are like a single, some are double, triple, whatever. But mainly triple is the max. But the thing about video games is, like if you collect books, they have intrinsic value unto themselves, and then you can enjoy them by reading them. So there is the other value. Video games, one thing I like about video games is like somebody that collects movies. Yes, you can watch the movie, but in video games, you actually get to participate. So it's like a movie that you participate, or a book that you participate in. I mean, come on, Skyrim's got as much lore as a book, as any fantasy book. So many other games out there have as much lore or reading to do as any other book, and are as entertaining as any movie, if not more so than any movie, and you get to participate in the story. What else does that? What else does that? Nothing. I can tell you right now, nothing. Music you visualize when you listen to music and you think about things, okay, you're kind of participating there a little bit. Or you put Sade on when you and your significant other have your monthly session. That's inappropriate for 18 or under. Burp, 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 burp. Yes, people actually do it. Yeah. I've done it. Ah! So, I'm just, what I'm saying is with video games, to me, video games have beyond the collectible value. Now, do I occasionally pull down games that I would typically never play that I might be a little curious about? And I've said this many times before. Collecting makes me play things that I would never normally play, and I found so many games that I would never have normally looked into or tried. And games are of interest to me, right? I'm interested in it, so it exposes me to it forces me to look into other games because I do own them. There's no excuse. It's like, oh, dude, I keep hearing about this game and hearing about it, and I know I've got it up there. Why don't I pull it down and check it out? Oh, wow. And then all of a sudden, I'll spend an afternoon playing it and be like, wow, that was cool. Let me finish it or let me do anything else. So, are retro video games worthless? No. Will you be able to retire on a video game collection? Well, I don't know what your collection looks like, but I've seen collections going for $60,000, $100,000. I'm not going to disclose what I do have a numerical figure for my collection, but I'm not going to disclose it. It's gotten to that point. I'm not going to disclose it. But I will say, because I hunt at pawn shops and garage sales and hunt good prices and stuff like that, that the total value of my collection is far more than I invested. Probably like by a quarter or a third or something like that. It may even be more because a lot of titles, I mean, if I had to average what I paid on every game, I'm probably averaging $2 to $4, maybe it's $5 or whatever it is. I don't know what it would come out to if I did the math. I certainly could, but do I really want to do that? Do I really want to worry about it? No, I know that the collection is worth far more than I paid for it. So I'm already well into the black. Some people spend a lot of money on a hobby they never see back. That they sell it and they get a nice chunk of change at the end, but it's nowhere near what they invested. I invested a fraction of what my collection is currently worth, and it continues to go up in value every single year. And I can actually physically take them down, play them, and enjoy them. Are retro games useless? No, not by a long shot. Now, if you're in a relationship and your partner has other priorities and this is getting in the way of that, then you're going to have to negotiate that with them, or you're going to have to put it on hold or put it in storage or come to some compromise. Your partner has a right to bring that up. If you're taking rooms away from the house, most houses, like 90% of houses, are 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It is the most popular house in the United States. And there are bigger houses, and there are houses with basements and attics and all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, but most people are living in a 3-2. And if you're taking one of those rooms away, most people are going to be like, okay, let's talk about it. Especially if you start leaking out of the room like I've done. But I don't answer to anybody. I don't have to answer to anybody. So if I did, it would be a different story. I often think about my collection. I'm like, man, if I was living with somebody, I couldn't deal with this. I couldn't deal with this. You should see when I bring the occasional female home and she sees it. You know? Like, oh, bro. Anyway, so I was almost going to disclose number of games Now, I think I'll close with it. It's a good closer, okay? Now, this does not represent an actual total because there are some games that I don't have in there. Like my 3DO collection is not in here. It's just the major collections. The majors, the biggies. So I have other PC titles floating around, and I have some other system like Sega Saturn. I don't have Sega Saturn in here, which I have an import collection of. I don't know if it's going to have these in here. It goes by barcode and it goes by price charter, so they'll probably be in here, but sometimes not. So I have a Sega Saturn import collection that's pretty deep. But anyway, this is not a total by any stretch. So it's quite not a ton of titles, but I would say probably between 50 and 100 titles that aren't included in this total. So the total number of titles is 2,040 that I have in this app at this time. 22 GameCube. 62 Sega Genesis. 4 Nintendo 3DS. 28 Nintendo DS. I got 3 PC titles in there, but there are many, many more. 72 PlayStation 1 titles. 429 PlayStation 2 titles. That is the biggest collection within a collection. 368 PS3 titles. 54 PlayStation 4. 55. I got 1 PlayStation Vita title. 3 PSP titles, one of which I think I got from Philberto. 1 Sega Master System title, which I got from Philberto. 349 Wii titles. And there's probably like 20 valuable titles in that whole collection. Maybe more. I got 9 Wii U titles. 281 original Xbox titles. 313 Xbox 360 titles. That collection is actually quite choice. Very little junk in there. There's a lot of really good titles in there. And 41 Xbox One titles. So, and I'll add this one in. I'll add this bad boy in right now. Yep, Earth Defense Force 5, baby. Boom! So there you go. And there's no value information on it. So, what do you think about this, guys? And I want to hear from some other YouTubers, some of the other biggie wigs in the community. I'd love to hear from Happy Console Gamer, if I may, Maestro. Corleone, would love to hear from Corleone. Would love to hear from the Fata Keen, all of the Fata Keen. And let me know what you think about what we talked about. I just read off my collection app and my totals. I just read off my totals on air. Live! What do you think about that? So this is a video that invites commentary. And now, before it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to throw in Earth Defense Force 5. Because I'm not married and my daughter's at her mother's. Ha ha ha! Ha ha! And so I'm going to pop in a video game before it's 1 o'clock in the morning and check out and see what I think. This has been LVO Tour of the Fancy Action Now for the Gamer.